In One Piece, there are some intriguing postures that can be found among the characters. Some of these habitual postures are very down-to-earth, like Luffy's classic Asian squat, but even more common than the Asian squat is the habit of sitting cross-legged, often referred to as the Seiza posture. A particularly bold scene is when the three admirals make their appearance during the Marineford War. Akainu and Akiji naturally sit with their legs crossed, while Kizaru, who doesn't conform, doesn't sit cross-legged. This leads to Akainu holding a grudge and later cutting off Kizaru's leg. However, Kizaru did sit cross-legged, he just did it discreetly to defy Akainu. Apart from the admirals, many characters, regardless of their gender, age, size, or shape, have this habit, including the Straw Hat crew. Their postures can generally be divided into two categories, understated and reserved or flashy and arrogant. However, it's not the admirals who excel at sitting cross-legged, it's actually Law's posture that stands out the most. When he first appears, he is sitting cross-legged, and even when lying down to rest, he maintains the posture. It's undoubtedly comfortable, but sitting like this for extended periods can make your legs numb. In a flashback, Robin and Law are shown sitting cross-legged even when hanging from someone's shoulder. It seems that Law couldn't resist defying Akainu at the time. Some devil fruit users have signature gestures as well, such as Robin's flower fruit, Treble's stick fruit, and Sugar's hobby fruit. These gestures are theoretically self-created, but the barrier fruit has a unique quirk. Both users of this fruit, Bartolomeo and Gladius, use the same hand gesture. Speaking of barrier fruit, it's quite peculiar that both users of the barrier fruit in different generations, Bartolomeo and Gladius, use the same hand gesture. It makes you wonder if there's some sort of instruction manual for this fruit. There are also three postures that, while not necessarily difficult to imitate, require a lot of courage. One is Frankie's classic pose, which involves wearing only underwear or nothing at all in public and doing it with such confidence. The challenge here is not flexibility but rather sheer audacity. The second is Boa Hancock's Snake Princess posture, which involves arching her back to the extreme, requiring both immense flexibility and a lack of concern for appearing vulnerable. The third is Doflamingo's walking posture, which involves a swagger that's tough to replicate. It might be easy to imitate, but doing it in public might lead to confrontation. Some postures are incredibly difficult to imitate. For instance, Brook's 45-degree tilt may not seem too challenging, but maintaining such a regular triangular shape without any tools is tricky. Brook uses this posture to cope with his loneliness during the 2-year time skip. He even attempted to increase the difficulty to a 40-degree tilt but apparently failed. Luffy's foot clapping is not too difficult in itself, but his variation involves repeatedly jumping while clapping both feet together, which is quite challenging. Sabo's Dragon Claw fist, where he combines his index and middle fingers and his ring and pinky fingers, requires a high level of dexterity and finger strength to replicate the shape accurately. Then there's Luffy's Gear Second pose, which involves forming a ring with both hands and flipping it onto his eyes. This gesture is quite unnatural and would be challenging for anyone without Luffy's rubbery body. Lastly, there's Zoro's three-sword style technique, where he rotates his swords like a pen between his fingers. This seemingly simple act is so impressive that it left a real person dumbfounded. Zoro uses incredible finger dexterity to perform this maneuver, making it difficult for anyone to imitate. In the face of Zoro's three-sword style, the real person came up with the most straightforward solution: run away and avoid the attack at all costs. This demonstrates that imitating some of these postures and techniques is nearly impossible for ordinary people.